children of the night. What music they make. They're all gonna laugh at you.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
What's up?
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash you a bit.
Welcome back to Final Guys. We're here again to do our, I guess now it's like a yearly tradition, VHS review.
Yeah.
This week we are talking about VHS Beyond, and I'm super curious to hear what you guys think. Unfortunately, Dick Lachey is not here, and I really wanted to hear what he thought, because he's the alien.
Yeah, this movie was made for him.
Yeah. But of course, he's not here again.
He's suspended. That's why he's not here.
Yeah, that's exactly. I'm Jason Brandt, joined as always by Beta Maximus Chad Lutsky.
Good evening.
And Snoop Doggy Dog, Jack Campisi.
What up, what up?
And tonight we're going to do the usual and give you a bunch of recommendations. I actually saw some pretty wild shit this week. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys about. And, you know, the news and all the usual crap we go into. Hello to everyone in the chat. And do you guys have any announcements before we do the drinking words?
No,
I see Brian Connolly in the chat wants to know when the next Creepy Couch is going up. Wife has been sick. I had announced that, and she's strangely not getting better. She was, and then she did a bunch of work around the house and at her job, and so I don't know if she got herself sicker or what. But I'm ready to film while I'm sick. She's not that kind of. She can't fake it. So
I don't know, man. When you're sick, what do? You sit on the couch.
Yeah, but you got to be amused.
Just change the channel name to Sick Couch for a week.
You got to be entertaining. So as soon as we possibly can. So thanks for asking, though.
Do you guys not bank episodes?
We did, and then I think we got COVID, and then there went that. So
I usually like to have like 6, but I only have like 3 right now. Because shit comes up. I get sick. Ever since COVID, I get sick every year, and then I'm like out for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I don't think I have anything. Nope, that's not true. I found out I have 4 copies of She-Wolves of the Wasteland, so that was exciting today. I'm sure that's going to be a real gem of a movie. All right, then let's jump into some drinking words. Who wants to read these bad boys?
I got him. If you hear Jack say SWAT, alien, or rainbow, take a drink. Hunter's not here, so we'll include him with the bonus words. Jason, if you hear him say dog, rap, footage, take a drink. And if I say witch, watch, taxidermy, take a drink. And the bonus words are shutter, skydive, UFO, long, VHS, and series.
Of course he puts VHS in there.
I'm bummed that Hunter isn't here because the wife watched the very beginning of this with me and then fell asleep. And I said, as soon as I think it was in the first 15 seconds when it said something about UFOs or aliens, I was like, well, Hunter's got a boner right now. But I guess he didn't, or he couldn't keep it up long enough to talk about it here tonight.
Well, I actually wanted to ask him because
the Hunter boner bell.
There's someone in that movie that I was like, this must be somebody in the UFO community because they keep showing him. So I wanted to ask him that, but he's probably watching baseball instead. So
when we did the paranormal investigator Eric Mintel a couple weeks ago on Monster Man, the two of them started talking cryptid references. In an upcoming episode that's coming out like next week, same thing. A cryptid person. They start talking this language, and I just sit there like laughing. They'll reference some guy and say some word, and I'm like, "Where the
nerding
hell?"
out.
Yeah,
that's
crypto
funny.
lingo. I love it.
Yeah.
Alrighty. If we got nothing else going on because we don't do anything exciting in our lives, and it's time to jump into Jack Campisi's award-winning news segment. It's the news. Yay!
Today's news is brought to you by Hunter Shea's suspension.
Peace at last.
He says he's sick, but I totally think he's watching the Mets. And I don't blame him, because if it was the Red Sox, I'd be... Anywho, so the first piece of news was actually that Rachel McAdams is in talks to star in Sam Raimi's new horror movie, Send Help. But I didn't know Sam Raimi had a new horror movie in the works.
No.
So I felt like that was the bigger piece of news for us was, hey, Sam Raimi's working on a new horror movie called Send Help, described as sort of, I guess the mashup would be Misery and Castaway. So I'm thinking this is going to take place on an island.
Huh. When was the last Sam Raimi horror film we got?
Is it Drag Me to Hell?
I think it might have been.
Doctor Strange had elements of it.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, Drag Me to Hell was 10, 15 years ago?
He also did the first couple of Ash versus Evil Dead. I mean, it's not a movie, but you could tell it was him.
Yeah.
The camera work.
Wow. Well, thank God. Come back, Sam. You made some of the most interesting shit.
Yeah, so I think that's great news. So
Yeah, we need more zoom ins
Yeah.
on random shit.
Quick note, I just threw this in there. The Terrifier 3 is coming out this weekend, and the news is the official Terrifier 2 novelization is now out and available like on Amazon and stuff, written by Tim Wagner. So
Wonder what that reads like. And then he cut her skin off, and then he sliced her face. And then
20 pages later, okay, we're done with that kill. He's got the synonym webpage up with like words like blood and gore and stab.
Yeah, you can only put slice in so many times. Is there a word? Was there a word? Jesus Christ, I can't talk. Is the word out on the length of Terrifier 3 yet?
I don't know about the length. I'm sure we could Google it because it's basically out. But
I think this time it's about the girth.
Whoa.
It's what I hear.
Oh, I'll take your word for it.
I've heard that
You guys are speechless.
he's big on the penis jokes tonight. I have heard of people passing out and stuff like that. Feels like Alfred Hitchcock marketing for it, but supposedly.
Who would be passing? Like, if you've seen Terrifier 1 and 2, how the hell are you going to pass out watching 3? Unless they're doing, like, random screenings where they just pull people in like they used to do at malls and shit.
They go to old folks' homes. Here, come watch this movie.
They go to church.
Coming to Shudder, I think on November 1st. Yes. A massive 295-minute documentary called Doc of Chucky coming to Shudder, covering all the Chucky stuff.
So is that going to be like the what was the Friday the 13th
the Crystal
one?
Lake thing?
Yeah, like that, and then there was a Nightmare on Elm Street one.
Yeah, I bet you it's going to be like that. Which I like
be
a Chucky movie, but I don't know if I need 295 minutes of Chucky.
I mean, look, I don't love the A Nightmare on Elm Street beyond 2 of the movies. Really, I think they're either fine to bad, and I still found that documentary
that was
fascinating. So this could maybe be the same thing. I don't know. And that Crystal Lake Memories, is that what it was called?
So, yeah, something like that. That was awesome.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah, that was great. So, we got Shudder, and you're just getting over your heading into your Halloween hangover. That feels like a good.
Hell
you know what Hunter does towards the I think in November, because he does the horror movie every day in October, and even does more than one sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Then he like switches to like Christmas movies.
I mean, you're doing more than one horror movie a day. That's serious burnout, even for freaks like us.
Yeah, he did something like 60 last year or something.
That's insane.
No wonder he's sick.
I suspect that he just put something on in the background. He's seen 65 times allegedly, and then It's like, yeah, watch this. Watch 4 movies yesterday.
I mean, if a
That's-
movie's 2 hours long, I don't
Puzzle
even put
together.
it on because I'm like, I don't have time for this shit,
Yeah.
let alone 2 a day.
I started working from home, and there are moments where I can't be watching something, but then there are stretches where I can. So what you said is kind of appropriate. Is you put on something that you don't have to. If you get busy, you don't worry about not paying attention.
Yeah, you're not going to
You don't
miss
wanna-
something.
You don't want to pay per view something while you're
Mhm.
working. Okay, the last piece of news. I actually wish Hunter was here because he's probably the only person that would spend money on this. But did you know that it's Boktober? Because Reebok and Universal Monsters have joined forces, and there are available for purchase right now a line of sneakers dedicated to the Universal Monsters. And I'm going to go through them with you and tell you how much they cost.
Bring it
Reebok.
on.
I'm going to start with, who do you think the least expensive one would be?
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Bride
Oh,
of Frankenstein.
I would think
Club,
Invisible Man.
Club C Megacourt, $120. The
Dang.
Club C Bulk Wolfman, $120. The Dracula BB 4002s, $130. The Pump TZ Frankensteins, $180. And coming in at the top, the Instapump Fury 94 Mid Creature from the Black Lagoon, $220.
Whoa, I got it completely wrong. Holy shit.
I am totally surprised at the Creature from the Black Lagoon. Those must be bad looking rides.
What? I didn't even know they made Reeboks anymore. I could see this coming out in like 84, 85. But
Reebok is a huge brand still.
really,
Yeah, aren't they the ones that have Otani like under contract?
I have no idea.
Well,
I
it's
think
the
they're
one,
the sponsor of the NFL, aren't they? This year?
the one that's in Boston is the one that has Otani.
huh.
Anyway, if you're looking for sneakers and you're a horror fan and you've got some disposable income,
I don't know anything about shoes, but I'm looking at these designs and they just look like shoes.
can you show any of them?
I can try.
I don't know. I don't have my finger on the shoe pulse either. I get Vans, and that's about it, and Converse, and that's about it.
I get Merrells. They're very comfortable.
I buy whatever I see is super cheap. I so don't care about shoes. All right, so here's some. Like I thought there'd be like I don't know
Oh,
image on it or something.
yeah. I thought they'd be all wrapped up with a cool image. What?
So that's the craziest one, the Creature from the Black Lagoon.
That's got to be one of the ugliest shoes I've ever seen.
It looks like somebody stepped in mud.
But this is the Bride of Frankenstein. What?
See the stitching on it?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I expected
What?
it to be more garish.
Wow. Huh. No thanks.
I mean, I one time, well, my wife had done it as a gift for me. I didn't know. She had got me shoes that were going to be painted custom Demon Knight. And they were like, yeah. The woman ended up being super flaky, so it ended up not happening. But that would have been garish as hell, and I would have worn that shit everywhere.
I can't remember the name of the shoe, but there's a boat shoe that they made special Jaws ones, and they made a variety of them. But when they first came out, they were going fast, and I ordered my size, got them. They came, and they were the tiniest shoe ever. It was like a freaking doll shoe. And like an idiot, I sent them back. And then it's like as soon as I dropped it in the mailbox or handed it, whatever, I was like, oh, these sold out really quickly. I probably should have resold those for like 10 times what I bought them for, you idiot.
I've seen some cool shoes that have like the Shining with a couple different designs, one with the twins and one with just like the movie poster, all over it. And I've seen some other ones that look really cool. Like
There's some good Nightmare on Elm Street ones with the Freddy sweater.
Yeah, but they actually look like cool. I think I've seen Halloween, Black Sabbath. I don't even know if they're that much. I don't even think they're like $180 or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. These look These were very underwhelming for me. I expected it to be a
Big
lot.
time.
If you have a pair of horror sneakers, post a picture on Twitter and tag Final Guys.
There you go.
We'll
I
retweet
like
it.
it. I like it. Is
That
it?
is all the news that's fit to print.
Let's talk about shitty horror movies.
We have such sights to show you.
All right, Chad. What did
Well-
you watch on Tubi?
I'll have you know, I watched nothing but good movies this week. So I've got 2 killer movies. Actually, I watched 3, but I'll say the next one for, which might be the best one for next week. I saw a few weeks ago. I brought Cronenberg's Shivers to the table after revisiting it, and this week I'm bringing his second film, Rabid. A couple crashed their motorcycle out in the sticks, and the man is transferred to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, while the woman's injuries are more serious. So she's transported to the nearest possible hospital, which is actually a plastic surgery center. This will help her with all her burns that she suffered because she was trapped under the bike while it was burning. And while she's in a coma, the doctor performs like this experimental graft surgery that somehow mutates her armpit into a vaginal wound with a protracting pineal gland type stinger, excuse me, which she uses to poke people with in order to feed on their blood for sustainability. It doesn't really go into detail exactly how this mutation happened. There was no plan for it to happen. It just did somehow. It doesn't even really show the stinger that much. But this attack, the first one, when she does attack somebody, it turns her victims into like rabid zombies. They foam at the mouth and they attack somebody and bite a chunk of them off or whatever. And this causes an epidemic with martial law in the city of Montreal. Overall, I like Shivers more. It's just more like chaotic and urgent. But Rabid is a must-see for body horror fans. Pretty much everything Cronenberg has done is a must-see, in my opinion. Actually, I haven't seen the new one with, the newer one with Viggo Mortensen in it. Well, Viggo's been in like 3 of his movies, I think. But the most recent body horror one, I can't remember what it's called, but I think you guys have all seen it, but I have not. And I tell you guys,
the remake of Rabid.
no, I haven't. Is it good?
It's all right. We reviewed it for this show, I think.
Oh, okay. You guys, Videodrome, Shivers, Rabid, The Brood, Crash, Dead Ringers. This guy is the king of body horror. But it's not just like extra appendages, with the exception of maybe Rabid. They all have a psychological spin on them, like both the mind and body horror. Like Crash, The Brood, Videodrome, and Dead Ringers all deal with like warped individuals either desiring more from the human body or experimenting with it and trying to somehow add to it or developing an unhealthy infatuation with it. So this is way more than just it's psychological body horror, I guess.
You
So-
haven't mentioned the biggest thing about this movie.
I have
Marilyn Chambers.
Yeah, I
is-
left that out on purpose because I didn't want it. Yeah, she's in it. Cronenberg, he's a fine director. You know, he does a more than adequate job, but his directing isn't what stands out for me. Oh, look at him!
Hunter.
Greetings from the dugout. Is that what that said? But where he shines for me is his ideas and his writing. That fusion of mind and body horror. I hope he leaves behind just a bunch of unproduced screenplays for his offspring to film, because we need more of his mind. And so, I mean, was it his kid who did Possessor, which I haven't seen either, but
Yeah,
I did hear good things. Yeah, Cronenberg's always been one of my favorites, so it's nice to revisit these. I'll probably do Scanners or The Brood next. I'm a huge fan of Brood in particular.
Yeah, he He's a twisted individual.
Rabid's a fun movie. It's crazy. When that thing first comes out, you're like, what the hell?
And other than The Thing, The Fly might be the best remake of a movie ever.
Yeah, it's right up there.
Yep. Alrighty. Jack, what you got?
Well, my friends, the day came. The Salem Lot remake came to HBO, or Max as they call it. So there I was. That night, sat down, popped it on, low expectations. What did I get? Now, the past mini series, I think that 79 is like 3 hours. And the TNT one in 2004 was like maybe 4 hours because it was 2 nights. This movie is under 2 hours.
Nice.
And it flies through the plot of the story. It leaves out so much stuff that if you're a fan of the book and you thought that any of the other miniseries, like, oh, they left this out, they changed that, this movie glosses over things. Like, so forget it. The Marston house, like, that story is like a tiny little mention.
Is this set in the 70s?
It's set in the 70s.
Oh.
So it's got Bill Pullman's son, Louis Pullman, is Ben Mears in this. Alfred Woodward's in this. I forget the kid who plays Mark Petrie. He's probably the person everybody's going to like the most because he doesn't act like any 11-year-old in real life, but he's kind of the frog brother of Salem's Lot, where once the vampires come and everybody else is kind of like scared and figuring out to woo, he's the one that like is grabbing a stake going, all right, we got to go kill them.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's going to love him. On Twitter, I said that this movie was for people with no attention span and that it had no subtlety. Because everything that's subtle in a vampire or supernatural movie is dumbed down for you. So if a vampire is entrancing somebody, their eyes will turn white. So if somebody who's about to become a vampire is in somebody's house, he'll say something like, "Thanks for inviting me here."
Oh God!
Like there's a lot of stuff like that. So I was thinking, like, this feels like it could have went to the theater. It didn't. It was delayed for a long time. I get it. This felt like a made-for-streaming movie. It's a popcorn movie. It's not the worst movie in the world, but it's made by the guy who like made some of the Annabelle and Nun movies. So it's got that. It's better than those, but just when it's doing something right, it does something wrong. It's more fun than the 2004 one. The 2004 miniseries started to do a lot of stuff right, but it was written so hokey, the dialogue so bad, and the vampires are so cheesy that every time that starts getting momentum, you start rolling your eyes because they do something ridiculous. I understand that the 79 one is you have to put on your 1979 glasses when you watch it because it's a made-for-TV movie that's a little bit slow, whatever, but it's still so much better. This movie felt like a remake of the 79 movie rather than an adaptation of the book. Barlow looks similar to the Barlow of the 79, but more CG. So I'm not a huge fan of this, but it's one of those ones I think that for general audiences looking for something to watch on HBO in October, they're going to watch it, and then they're not going to think about it like I am going to, nitpicking little things all over the place. They're going to be fine with it. But the piece of work for Salem's Lot deserved a better adaptation than what they got. The 79 is great, but it's dated. If you're going to remove this, they blew it. They should have got what's his name from Midnight Mass.
100%, man.
Flanagan,
and made this like a 10 episode or an 8 episode series on HBO and taken their time and done it right.
He'd have killed it.
So I'm gonna say it's kind of like a meh.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't as bad as expected because of the delay in releasing it. But
Like they changed the ending, and there's like a really kind of fun scene, but then like I feel like they fumbled the ball on the goal line.
A bunch
So-
of jump scares in here too.
There's some jump scares, but those didn't bug me.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's just you kept thinking like, this like if it was longer, why wasn't this at least 2 hours? Like
Yeah.
it's on HBO. Who cares? Make it 3 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of us 70s kids, I just feel because I mean it's not so much the movie as it was the experience, seeing it live for the first time on TV as it was playing.
Yeah,
And
that was an
having-
event. Everybody had to watch it. It was like the
Having
only
no
thing.
knowledge of the images of Barlow and what's his name, Juliet Lewis's dad in the rocking chair. I can't remember the actor's name.
It's Mike Ryerson in the movie.
Yeah, and of course, the boy floating in the window and all that crap. It was just like it was all new at that time. So when we saw it for the first time, being like 9 years old or what have you, it was I feel like I think I've said this before, but I feel like Flanagan would be the only person who could, because Flanagan's stuff like Midnight Mass just feels like a Stephen King book.
yeah,
Um,
I mean, I think that's why he's so good at adapting Stephen King stuff. He just
yeah.
gets it.
And he could have perfected this. I mean, it's like the book was written for him to adapt.
Part of this story is the deterioration of a town, and in this, you hardly get to know anybody in the town. Everything is so fast, and so if you go back and you watch the first one, you do get they cut out a lot, but you still get a sense of people and their relationships and what's going on in their lives before everything falls apart. And there's this lead up to stuff is happening, and they figure out it's vampires, and they don't really believe it for a long time. In this, like they're pretty much like, that's pretty weird. I think it's vampires. You're probably right.
All right. Okay, well, I also watched a new film. I got to see Azreal.
Oh, where did you say it? In the theater?
It's in the theater by me, yeah.
Haven't heard of it.
This, I did not know had Samara Weaving in it.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see this.
And written by Simon Barrett, so I was pretty pumped for this. Did not know people don't speak in this movie.
What?
There's no dialogue. It's wild. So when it comes to storytelling, it just starts. You don't know who is good, who's bad, what's happening, why are they being chased. But this movie could be summed up as Samara Weaving's no good, very bad day. Because she goes from one shitty thing to the next, to the next, to the next. I won't show pictures of it because this is just so new. But this takes place after the rapture. It just tells you in a little bit of text right at the beginning. So most people are gone, and there's this group of people. Oh, and nobody speaks because they feel like it's some kind of a sin. So nobody talks in it. And Samara Weaving and seemingly her boyfriend are on the run from a group of people who are chasing them through the woods. And there's all kinds of crazy stuff that happens. So I was kind of curious after watching, because I like this a lot. I think Samara Weaving was one of the best actresses you could cast for this, because she has those big, expressive eyes. So she can do a lot with just her face without using words. And she does it, because she is in damn near every frame of this. Not quite, but not too far off. She is in this whole freaking movie, and she carries it without speaking the entire time, which is very impressive. And the way they kind of handle the religious stuff I found very interesting, because it's about the rapture. So, like I said, did I say it was a couple years after? I think I did.
You said it was after, but I don't know if you mentioned
a couple years. They don't say when, but it's been a couple of years. So like vehicles are still working. They some things still work. But this is definitely one I think we should do as a main feature. I know it's a real limited release, So it'll probably have to be when it hits VOD. But this would definitely be one I'd like to talk to you guys about, because I could see a lot of people not liking it because the storytelling is non-traditional. There aren't people telling you what's happening. You don't know anybody's names. You're just watching this woman go through some shit after the rapture. I dug it. It was different. It was interesting, but I could see some people being pissed because they're like, I don't understand what's happening. And you really don't know what the hell's happening for like half the movie. And then you start piecing it together and you're like, oh, okay, now I understand everyone's relationship. But at the beginning, you're just watching this woman run for her life. So, very cool movie. I dug it quite a bit.
I got to see if that's playing. That's been on my radar for a long time.
This is one of those like one showing per day at one of my theaters kind of thing. So it's very small.
I had never even heard of it. And I'm curious where Gargamel comes in.
Yes.
Oh, Azreal.
It's about 3/4 of the way.
Okay.
Alrighty, what you got, Chad?
All right. This is a great one, you guys. Okay, there are certain Hollywood faces that make excellent villains, no matter what they're in. Like Willem Dafoe, Christopher Walken, even Clint Howard. But this guy, he can't help but be typecast as the creepiest guy in the room, and that is Klaus Kinski.
Yeah.
That dude is, man, he's super creepy. This is called Schizoid from 1980. It's over on Tubi. It's an American giallo slasher, starring Claus and Donna Wilkes from the hot little high school student by day, hooker by night movie called Angel.
Oh, Angel, yeah. It's a Hunter Shea favorite.
Which ironically, I'm working with the writer and producer of that movie. I've been working with him for the last several months.
Yeah.
Anyway, she plays Claus's daughter, so you know where part of that movie is headed because she looks very cute in this movie too. So it has some underlying stuff that you're not sure if that's really supposed to mean that or not. But it also has Doug Wasson or whatever from Body Double, which is another great movie, and Richard Hurd and Christopher Lloyd is a maintenance man with zero self-awareness. So Claus plays some kind of counselor who hosts a therapy group at his house, and somehow and it's just women and then Christopher Lloyd. So somehow a few of these chicks in the group are really into Claus, and a couple times he gets super handsy with them, like aggressively and assertively, like really sleazy. And in the movie, they love it. But apparently in real life, a few of the actresses were super uncomfortable with him. And he crossed the line a few times. And
What a shock.
Yeah, they just let the camera roll. So anyway, one of these women in his therapy group is a reporter, and she starts receiving letters in the mail created old school style, like cut and paste ransom note style. And those notes appear to be coming from the killer. So now it's up to her to set a trap and find out who the guy is. The only problem I have with this movie is actually a pretty big one. At the very beginning, when they show the killer in the shadows, he's got his gloves on, he's got his weapon, he's got his hat, total giallo. And then they show him in the shadows, very dimly lit silhouette, and they show a little too much of him. And the next shot in the movie is the next day, and the first actor that they show is the first time they show him, and it's clearly the guy in the silhouette. You could just tell right away, this is the killer. So I thought maybe they're doing this on purpose. No, it was the killer. And so they did a great job with some awesome red herrings, but it ultimately was a waste of time for any of it because unless your TV is like super grainy, you're not watching a very good copy of it, you're just not observant. You didn't happen to look away during that part or focus on something else. Otherwise, yeah. Spending the next 80 minutes setting up the great red herrings that aren't even necessary was a bit of a bummer, but I still really enjoyed it. but quite a bit. I'm a big fan of Kinski's movie Crawl Space, which I don't think anyone else has seen it here. I think that we should cover it one of these times when we are like digging into the the older stuff like we've done before, like with Dead and Buried, and of course Phantasm. Crawl Space would be a great conversation, I think. And it's just a great Kinski movie. Super creepy. He is. So it was nice to find another American thriller that he's in where he plays this sexy but creepy guy. If you're into 80s thrillers or giallo, it's a must-see. If you like Kinski, it's a must-see. If you love to hate Kinski, definitely a must-see. So it's over on Tubi. It's called Schizoid. I recommend it.
I've never even heard of this. All right.
Me neither.
Interesting.
You guys like Kinski?
Yeah, sure. It's been a long time, but yeah,
You gotta see Crawl Space.
he's insane.
Yeah.
All right, Jack, what you got?
I also watched a movie on Tubi. This one is, let's see, 1978. Made for TV horror movie. The 70s was a magical time because Salem's a great example of it too. You didn't get, you didn't have cable or you didn't have VCRs yet. So a lot of what you watched was, movies that were put on regular television. And often that was like at night, midnight on the weekends or in Saturday afternoons and things like that. Or like ABC would have a made for TV horror movie and, you would watch that. So I watched a lot of them.
Boring as hell.
They would be boring. Yeah. You'd be waiting till the end where they showed all the good stuff.
Yeah.
And you had to sit through commercials and things like that. But you got a lot of fun stuff like Gargoyles and things like that. I don't know if Gargoyles was made for TV, but the first time I saw that was on TV.
I think it may have been.
This one, Devil Dog, the Hound of Hell. Richard Crenna, Colonel Troutman from
Love it.
First Blood. This guy's been in a million movies. And the beautiful thing about him is he just plays it straight no matter what he is dealing with. The man earned his money, showed up. Him and his family live in the suburbs of California. The son and daughter, Kim Richards is the daughter. That's the blonde girl from like Escape from Witch Mountain and all that.
Yeah, dude. I noticed. How many movies had those two kids done together?
And her brother is the kid from Witch Mountain,
Yeah.
Ike Eisenman. Also, Ike Eisenman. Last week I mentioned the guy from Wrath of Khan that played Kirk's son.
Mm.
Ike Eisenman played Scotty's nephew who gets killed when they get attacked, and they bring him up, and he's like, "Is the word given? Word is given." So anyway, back to the movie. Yeah, so I'm like, holy crap! It's the kids. Holy crap! It's the kids from Witch Mountain. They have a dog and it dies, but at the beginning of this movie, this satanic cult adopts a puppy, takes it to and does a ritual. And basically, the dog is now an emissary of the devil. And then this like guy with a fruit truck runs into the kids in the neighborhood the day that their dog happens to die, and the girl is all broken up, and gives them this puppy. And then
So they adopt the puppy for the ritual?
They adopt the puppy for the ritual and possess it.
They purposely left a paper trail for their satanic stuff.
I think in the 70s you didn't like sign for stuff. You just picked up the dog and left.
Yeah, out of your neighbor's backyard.
And then slowly but surely, like their housekeeper doesn't like the dog, and she's a little religious. She dies. Anybody who crosses this dog, it can entrance you. Bad things can happen.
This sounds great.
It's a blast. So then Richard Crenna's realizes there's something wrong with his dog and goes on a quest to figure out, and he's got to figure out how he can defeat this thing. And then I don't know if you have a shot of what the devil dog looks like in it. The climax of this movie is just awesome with this.
He did show one. It looked like it had horns stuck to its head.
Lion's mane.
Yeah, like a lion. Yeah.
That looks ridiculous.
Yeah, it's awesome. So if you're of a certain age, if you're old enough to appreciate this kind of stuff, it's fun to go back and whether you saw it a long time ago and never saw it, this one's worth tracking down. It's fun. I don't know about for younger people who,
probably
if you're going to track something like this down, but if you have an affinity for older, quirky, satanic movies, this one is a lot of fun.
They really did. They really did do great stuff made for TV in the 70s. One of them, probably their best, other than Salem's Lot, would be like Dark Knight of the Scarecrow. Still holds up. I saw it a few years ago.
Yeah.
Amazing movie.
There was one, The Devil's Triangle, that I just loved when I was a kid. Troy McClure.
Devil's Triangle. Have I seen that? I don't remember.
I think there's another movie called Devil Dog that has Alice Cooper in it from the 80s.
Ooh, nice.
Wow. Alrighty. I saw a movie I wanted to talk to you guys about because I was curious if you've seen it, called Evil Toons.
No.
Oh, that looks so bad.
It is. I was curious particularly to see if Hunter had seen this because it's essentially just a booby movie. It has booby movie legends such as Monique Gabrielle. Michelle Bauer shows up, pulls her boobs out, and then walks out of the movie. That's all she does. This movie's so stupid. David Carradine has the Necronomicon, which brings out cartoon ghost demon things that will possess hot chicks and make them be naked and kill other hot chicks. It's really dumb, but there's so much nudity in this. I was curious if Hunter had this like on repeat in the back while he's working or something. This will be coming out on So Bad It's Good soon, but I'd always heard of this movie because it was obviously just trying to make money because of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and I remember seeing it in the video store, but it obviously was a piece of shit, so I never rented it. And now having watched it, it is really bad. Like, shocking.
Sounds wonderful. Oh my God.
Dick Miller is in it. I'm pretty sure just because he can look at beautiful naked chicks on set. He shows up a couple times. This movie is something, man. There's one character that comes in and just keeps looking at the women's boobs, like while talking to them, just checking their chests out. It's quite a film. Quite a film. Evil Toons coming up soon. You guys have anything else?
Nope.
Bravo. That's the way to drop the mic and walk away.
Time to talk about VHS Beyond, baby.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
Jack, this ought to be actually pretty easy.
I looked up and printed out what each segment was called, so we don't have to just go, what was that one with the guy and the thing?
Okay, you know what? Should we just go? I think we did it
Yeah,
before.
I got a tab open too.
Let's go segment to segment. Why not?
Yeah. So
Okay.
basically, this is a anthology of found footage movies, most of them having to do with aliens, but not all of them.
Were you surprised by that? I expected all of them to be aliens.
So did I, and I got confused
I didn't get
during one part. I got for the fur babies. I got real confused.
that was something. Alrighty, yeah, it's an anthology. Go watch VHS series and you'll understand. So the first one is Adduction, right? Oh, that's the prologue.
That's the wraparound, I think.
Yeah. Should we just talk about that first or last?
Sure. I mean, there's not a whole hell of a lot of story here, right?
What are we going around and saying what we like of each one, whether we liked it or not?
Well, why don't we just say overall, quick Twitter link.
I mean, hit or miss.
I liked
Like all of them.
3 of the 5 a lot. Not counting the prologue, not counting the rap. 3 of the 5 stories I liked a lot.
Yep.
1 I really disliked. Mm-hmm. And then 1 I thought was okay, but didn't fit and was really weird. But I could see other people liking it. I didn't hate it, but it was like, wow, I don't understand what this has to do with anything else in the movie. But one of them in particular I thought was kind of brilliant, to be honest. So I'm looking forward to
we're probably all going to pick the same favorite.
Probably.
I think there's 6 if you count the wraparound. 3 out of 6.
Yeah, I liked it overall. I think probably one of the better VHS movies, but definitely uneven, and I felt like a tad long. I felt like this thing could have been 10, 15 minutes shorter because I was starting to nod at the end.
I can tell you where you could cut.
Yeah, I was going to say, just like any of them, you could pull a story out, and yeah.
But I mean, go ahead, Chad, and then I'll go.
I like 3 out of 6 of these, I guess we'll say. One of them is one of the greatest things I've ever seen in a found footage thing. I mean, it's in the top like 25 of greatest short films by itself, found footage. We'll say that.
Wow.
And kept me super engaged and entertained.
All right. I would say in the pantheon of VHS movies, the last 4 in particular are really blurring. But there's probably 3 or 4, if I had to guess. 2, to me, is just miles beyond any of the others. I think 2 is just amazing. 1's really good. And then what was the one that we all liked a couple years ago?
They fused together. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I put this 3 or 4 probably. Because the ones in this I really liked, they really landed for me.
Yeah, I'm happy that they just, they put these out, and I don't think that they really dial them in. I think they're all worth watching, and it's cool that this has become kind of a tradition to talk about the new. I got excited when we we're gonna do this one.
Yeah, I look forward to this every
discussion.
Year. Yeah, absolutely, every year. All right, so you want to jump into the wrap?
Okay.
I guess we're just gonna have to say kind of spoilers from here on out if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
It's worth watching. If you have Shudder, freaking watch it. If you like the VHS movies, you're gonna be happy.
Yep.
So the wrap. Not a lot of a story here to really kind of tie everything else together, right?
No, and the ending is really weird. Or they're building up to show this groundbreaking footage.
Yeah.
And then when they show it, it's from 2 different angles. And maybe you guys can explain to me what the big deal was, because the only thing I didn't understand was like who was holding the camera.
Yeah.
Well, he was just super rich, and he had 2 VHS recorders in the 80s.
And one of them was
one goes down his throat.
One was rammed down his throat.
He slept with it here. I don't know. I didn't get it. There was so much buildup. I was like, oh, this is going to be wild.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, there, look at the alien's face. Okay. But it was cool to see the Corridor crew. What are they called? Corridor Digital crew, I think. The YouTubers. They do all the... Have you guys ever seen them? They do the breakdowns of effects in movies. They have some really good videos. They have some
so I didn't know those were real guys.
Yeah, the guys who were analyzing the CG and saying everything's fake, those are YouTubers who have just millions and millions of followers. And they do, I think they do some legit movies too. So that was pretty cool. The guy who was kind of narrating the whole thing, was he someone in the UFO community?
That's a question for Hunter. Hunter, are you still watching?
Well, the guy with the leather jacket?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I did notice he had a giant black flag tattoo on which is this, right on the back of his hand. So he's an old schooler.
Okay,
I don't know who he was.
He came off as a guy who would.
That was somebody.
One of these.
Yeah,
it did something. Yeah.
Mitch Horowitz is an American author, publisher, speaker, and television host specializing in occult and esoteric themes. So he is somebody. So there you go.
Okay.
So cool that they got, kind of real people in the fields. I thought that was interesting. There's no story.
Yeah, I could have lived without this wraparound. That could have chopped the time off.
Well, and the weird thing is you can easily make the rap be like the videos they're talking about could be the shorts we're watching. I didn't understand why that wasn't a tie-in. I didn't get that.
I would have, and I'm with Jack on this. The end just dropped the ball. They had a great delivery. It's like, oh, cool, and then we get to see the footage, and it was like, this is the footage. I would have enjoyed it more if they really almost didn't show anything, but it almost like kind of showed too much, and it was just, it's like, well, okay, so shoving a camera down his throat, I don't understand. And it wasn't anything, like I said, that like they showed it wasn't scary. It was just stupid. I thought the whole footage, and this is, I was not impressed with that. And I also thought that they set it up to where they're like, okay, this is, you're about to see, from the name to the prologue or whatever, the rap, and then everything in between, and the order of the first few things. Oh, this is an alien anthology, no question about it. So when they steer from that, then they steer way far from that. It got really confusing. So, and I was like, I thought that was weird.
Yeah, the swerve into a different topic didn't bother me, but the length, by the time you get through that one, and then the last segment is pretty epic. So then when you end that, and then you go to this, I'm kind of already done. And so I was sort of just like, wait, we still got more to go here. So I felt the fatigue for that specifically.
Do you guys remember the rap in the first one where some people break into a house and it has these crazy tapes all over the place?
Yeah.
Put them in and start. That is such a good rap, and I wish they would go back and explore that more. Like, who the hell had all those tapes? What's going on there? Like, and it's simple, it's easy. You don't need a lot of story. Instead, there was this build up through the whole movie, and I'm like, this is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I agree with you guys. It wasn't that it was like a total piece of shit. I just don't feel like it added a lot to the movie. No. Alrighty. Second, we had Stork, which was about some cops looking for missing children and raiding it looks like a crack den. And were you guys surprised when the first person they see, they just execute immediately? I was not expecting that for some reason.
I was confused because I thought that the rap before it, the beginning of the rap before it, had set up, and again the title Beyond had set up for these are all alien stuff. So when they first saw that first dude with a reflective city worker jacket on, I thought, okay, he's a zombie, but he's an alien zombie. And then they kept saying E.T., E.T. And so I'm like, okay, they're calling these things ETs, and they're, but no, it was some dude's name. His name was ET. And so, but I thought it was like, like in The Walking Dead when they're like, they call them walkers, and then they call them this and they call them that, depending on which tribe you're following in that season. I thought that these guys were just calling the alien zombies, which were not aliens at all, just ETs, and then they were shooting them.
Oh yeah.
I was confused from the get-go.
I did not have that problem. I just was like, why are these zombies? I thought it was going to be aliens. But I still enjoyed the hell out of it. It was a lot of fun.
I liked it too.
It's just a video game. It becomes a first-person shooter.
And it had some cool stuff. The dude's head on the chainsaw that slides on the blade and everything.
Yeah. It was just an excuse to do as many gore effects and shooting guns in a house as they could fit into a 15-minute
And then you got Big Bird.
Yeah.
At the end.
It reminded me of the Evil Dead 2 stork creature towards the end.
Nice.
That I kind of had that because I know Chad loves that movie, so I figured if I could.
Oh, we can talk about Evil Dead too? Okay.
So we all like this one?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good kickoff. It was just like, let's go, baby. We're not playing around. So I dug that too. All right, next up we had Dream Girl. I really did not like this one.
There you go. Okay,
I'm
scared
with
me
you.
a minute. Yeah.
This was dragging for me almost from the beginning. I know the exact moment when I was out. When they show us an entire music video in the middle of a VHS movie.
Yep.
The last VHS that we hated the most had to do with a performer dancing on stage. Do you guys remember that one?
That's right. I forgot about that.
We all hated that one.
This felt like they just wanted to make a gore episode. But I wasn't into any of that either. I was just like, this is just not interesting.
I didn't care.
Yeah, it just kept going. Now that wasn't an alien, right? That was a robot.
That was a robot. Yeah. Why? I don't get it.
And the twist was when the manager says, "I created you," he literally created her. And so, but once you find that out, then you've got 10 more minutes of just running around with a blurry face.
Yeah. If you're a gore hound, maybe you'll like this, because there is a lot of gore in the last half of this, but the characters were douchebags. I don't know. I kept waiting for, is this an alien robot? Did aliens drop this off? I don't get it. Nope.
Yep, this is the one I would skip.
Yeah. If I had to delete one to get the time down, this is a no-brainer. Like, gone.
Yeah, it's almost a tie for me, but yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to get the hell away from that one then. All right. I'm curious what you guys thought of Live and Let Dive.
Dude, come on. This thing was the best one easily the best out of all of them. It was so good. Oh yeah, man. It was so much fun. I had so much fun with this thing. It was, I mean, the first like maybe 2 minutes, I was super annoyed by the characters with the camera and how they were talking into it.
It was awful. I wasn't just annoyed. It was awful.
Yeah, I was thinking about you guys. I was like, I wonder if they're as annoyed as I am by this.
I was hoping the UFO would crash through the plane and just end it at that point. I was so over it.
But it was so well done, man. The special effects.
Skydiving in a found footage movie was awesome.
Oh yeah, man. The dude's losing his leg and blood spraying up, and
yeah,
the dude loses his head on the thing. It was so many cool kills. The aliens were awesome. The aliens reminded me of Jason. I don't know if you've played it enough to know what I'm talking about, but that game that I told you about, that what's that game? Something company, Lethal Company. There's a monster in there that kind of has weird legs and it's that same color. It's got a different kind of head, but it comes out of nowhere and it's fast. And it kind of reminded me of that.
I was very, very impressed by this. The effects they managed to do. I mean, doing a skydiving, heavy CG alien segment in a VHS movie felt like it would have been impossible a couple of years ago, but this dude totally pulled it off. My biggest complaint, other than the beginning, that I utterly loathed, like every character, I was like, please stop talking. Like, please stop talking. I was struggling with the shutter bit rate. When the guy was running through the orchard, it got so pixelated at times because the bit rate was so shit from Shutter that I felt like the image quality was very, very poor at times. I don't think it's a problem with the movie. I think it's a problem with Shutter and how much they're putting through the pipe. But it's not a complaint for the movie, but I'm watching it on Shutter and I'm like, Jesus, guys, like this looks like shit.
And that orchard, what a great idea! It's like the Shining Maze.
So good. So good. I was all in. And then just everything this guy goes through in it. Like, he's like, oh, okay, he got through that. Oh, here comes more. Here comes more. Fun.
Yeah, this was like found footage on speed. Like it was one gag after the other, and just pure like it the one where I guess it was the last one where they go to hell and back. It was similar to that, almost more insane than that one. Because they're skydiving and then stuff's falling out of the sky. So definitely a fun segment. It
fit perfectly with the anthology format. I feel like if we got 5 or 10 more minutes at that pace, it would have just been too long and too much.
Yeah, and those aliens look silly enough that they're good for a short film like that.
Yeah, it's cool. All the interesting weapons they gave them and the things they could do, it was fun. And then the ending I thought was wild.
Yeah.
Man, they really made they pulled off some of those effects so well. They must have had no money.
This whole thing felt like it had a higher budget than
it did.
Yeah,
it did. I totally agree with that. All right, next up, we have fur babies. I'm very curious what you guys thought of this. Jack, go ahead.
This was my favorite segment of the whole thing.
Oh my god,
by a mile.
What?
What you're feeling, I feel right back at you. How is this not your favorite one? This was, what's that movie? Tusk on crack.
Yes.
It was such a blast. This is the one, when you ask me about this, I'm going to be like, oh, the one with the dogs? This is the segment I'm going to remember. Woman captures a guy and a girl and then is training people or training them into dog people, and then they attack. What a fun, short, insane. This is done by Justin Long, too.
That surprised me seeing that at the end. But as soon as I saw his name, I was like, oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was disappointing because I'm like, okay, Justin, you got your you got this opportunity to write and direct something, and he goes and just takes a movie that he's already been in and then rewrites it with dogs. I thought it sucked because I love Justin Long. I love his acting, but I thought it was strange that he would just make Tusk with dogs and have a more of an obvious comedic bent to it.
I just thought it was awesome. And they had the guy stealing the Amazon packages at the end, and the dog comes through the doggy door.
I didn't love this one, but this is the one I said at the beginning. I could see people loving or hating this one. It doesn't fit with the theme of the movie at all, which really threw me off. I kept waiting for like this woman was an alien or aliens were going to be no. So it took me a long time to get there. I thought the effects were cool. I didn't love it until when we actually have the cam on the dog man.
Yes.
That from that moment on, I really enjoyed it. But it was the beginning. It didn't fit for me. I didn't like this. Like I said, I didn't hate
as it got going, and when you get to the grand finale of this, it's like slowly winning you over, and then you get down in the basement and stuff starts going, and I'm enjoying it. Going, oh my god, I can't believe this. And then when they get back upstairs, I'm like rolling off the couch laughing. Like it was so great.
It was nuts. The very end was bonkers.
Yeah.
See, I have a hard time when a movie does something that has been done already multiple times, but better. Not with the dog thing, but just like with the crazy person creating something with, by altering someone's body or whatever. Boxing Helena, Tusk.
You're the only person in a 100,000-mile area who's seen that movie.
It's a great movie. And it's got the Sands guy who got lost in the woods.
Julian Sands.
Yeah. And the hot chick from Twin Peaks.
I know, but you keep referencing it like it's
no, it is a good movie though. But and then what's the other one with is it Human Centipede? So it's like I feel like all three of those, and I'm not a Tusk man. I don't like that movie, but I feel like all three of those did this better. So I didn't like this one. This was one that was almost tied for the worst for me.
Oh, see, I didn't love this one either, but that second one, I mean, it's not even close. I really disliked that.
Yeah.
Well, see, I like this better than Stork because Stork is fun, but it's just like watching a video game. So I enjoyed the gore.
I get it.
Stuff like that. But this one had more humor going on.
I understand that. Yeah. Stork is just turn your brain off. There's nothing to it. Anybody could have written this. So, yeah, I understand.
But both of those for a VHS movie segment, that's all I care about. It's entertain me for 15 minutes with it.
No, I agree.
And both of them did it. And
like
so
I said,
did the
I
alien
think my
one.
biggest problem is where are the aliens? Like that really bothered me for some reason. I thought the whole thing
I didn't give it two thoughts.
It annoyed the shit out of me. All right, let's get into the last one here. Stowaway, directed by Kate Siegel and written by Mike Flanagan. Chad, what did you think of this one?
I thought that this was good. There are some things that bothered me that I can't really put my finger on. I may have been the chick, but it had some cool stuff. I like the idea. If you think about it after the fact, that this poor girl is she maybe going to live forever like this because these stupid nano robots are fixing her over and over again, and it's.
Did we just get $50?
What? Sean Ford?
Holy shit. Oh, yes.
From Florida.
$50 super chat from Sean Ford, who says, cheers from Florida, guys. Thanks for bringing some joy and fun tonight as I await this storm. Best natural disaster horror
movie. Oh, gosh.
Well, first of all, Sean, stay safe, man. Where are you at in Florida?
Yeah.
That's, I hope
Prayers
all's
for you,
well
man.
for you.
For real.
Best natural disaster horror movie.
Well,
I'm having trouble even thinking of one.
the
Right?
movie, the earthquake movie with The Rock that has
God.
Carla Gugino and Alexander Daddario. There's something about that movie that I love.
You mean when he flies the helicopter down into the crevice?
Yeah.
Oh, that movie's so stupid.
I can't think of any that are a horror. That's an actual horror movie.
Yeah, I can think of a lot of thrillers,
like Twister, but
Crazy Snowstorm in The Shining. I don't know if that would count, but
Storm of the Century, maybe? Stephen King?
Oh God, that's a great question. Crawl, everybody, we're getting Crawl in the chat. That's a great movie.
Don't think I've seen that.
What about the one with the shark tsunami? It's in the parking lot.
Does Sharknado count?
That's natural right there.
You know, what's the one? It's like a bite or something like that, or there's a tsunami and the parking lot gets flooded, and then people are stuck in their cars and there's sharks in the parking lot. It's
I
a
know what you're
great
talking
movie.
about.
Bite,
But-
something like that. I can't remember.
Crawl is good. I actually really agree with everybody. That's a damn good one. Take Shelter. There you go. Okay. Wow. Thanks, Sean. Man, I hope all is well with you.
Yeah.
And stay safe, buddy. And
Yeah,
really
buddy,
appreciate
man.
the super chat. That was very generous of you.
Thank you.
Okay, we were saying. Oh, Chad, something didn't land with you with this, and you thought it might be the actress.
It may have been the actress. I'm not really sure. But yes, I did like the nano robots. I guess part of it was the fact that she so willingly went inside this ship, knowing she probably wasn't going to be able to get back out, and just it was one of those things where a decision irritated me. You know, I let it get to me, and it was like, you stupid idiot, what are you thinking of? Yes, of course you can't find the exit. But the nano thing was cool to watch. And then as you see her, you know, self kind of mutate, I'm like, oh, I hope that, you know, is she going to turn into something? And yeah, she did. And is probably going to continue. But boy, that whatever video camera she brought with her sure is that's a craftsman right there.
Oh yeah, that thing was built tough, man. Military.
How did they get the footage back? Because doesn't that end with her in space?
Don't ask those kinds of questions.
Well, that's
Jack.
the second one that did that. So I don't think in this VHS movie they were worried about how we got the tapes. I think it was just more like POV, not found footage. Jack, what you think?
I thought this one was pretty good, but I think after the onslaught of the earlier ones that are so high energy, that this one was. But this is the one Flanagan wrote and his wife directed, and it felt like the most like a film.
You mean it had like story structure?
And they got really ambitious, like when they're looking at Earth and stuff like that, and you're like, wow, okay. So I thought like, wow, this is taking something that the Blair Witch Project birthed with people running around in the woods to now we're up in a spaceship. Like we've come a long way, baby. So I like this one, but I also already am forgetting the details of what happened in this one. So it's a little bit on the forgettable side besides the imagery for me.
Interesting. This is my favorite one.
Whoa.
And I'm not even sure it was close. And
Dude, let me ask you this. Before you made that decision, did you know that Flanagan, because I know you're a fanboy, did you know Flanagan? Okay.
Nope. I had no idea. I didn't look anything up.
Okay.
I knew Flanagan and Siegel were involved.
Mm-hmm.
When she was in the ship, that's when I basically assumed it was them, because this is the only one that has like a full story that plays out in a short period of time. The writing in this felt phenomenal. I knew exactly why she was going into the ship. This woman had quit her college and gone through a bunch of shit. She was divorced. She basically abandoned her child because of her pursuit of these aliens. She was out in the freaking desert by herself. This woman was hardcore looking for this. And I loved that at the end, it ruined her so much she was trying to kill herself and couldn't. And every time she did that, it made shit worse and worse for her. So her obsession just completely destroyed everything. My only complaint was that camera. Like, my favorite part of it was when it hits the hyperspace, wormhole speed, whatever the hell's happening. She's basically obliterated when she hits the wall.
Yeah.
I thought that was such an amazing touch that she was in pieces. But somehow the camera survived. I was like,
yeah.
How'd that happen? That was my biggest complaint with the movie. But no, I love this one because it had an amazing story. I thought the actress did well, but I like the scope of this. They clearly didn't put a lot of money into it, but they tried to do this whole interior of the ship and the nanobots and all that shit. I loved it. I'm actually surprised you guys didn't love it as much as I did. I like when this ended, I was like, that was
thought it
so
was
good.
I'm shocked that I thought for sure after the skydiving one, I was like, this is our favorite. This is no contest. This
was
is
my second
going to be our favorite.
I did love that.
And so I'm surprised that I'm the only one who's.
It took my brain a little bit in that one to switch over because I hated the beginning so much.
Yeah.
But once the guy's leg was like spewing blood in the air, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
all right, I'm back in. But so it seems like Jack, you liked 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I liked them all except for the robot one. But like I said, I was running out of gas towards the end, so I think if I rewatched it, I would probably do better I would skip the robot and pay more attention to the last one because I was getting tired towards the end. So
do you feel like the Stowaway or whatever it was called should have been like earlier for you, and you might have liked it better?
I just think if this movie was 10 minutes shorter, like that, it was sensory overload. You keep changing gears. You have 3 or 4 of these that are kind of like video games, just crazy action, nutty gore, funny stuff. And then that one kind of stretches into that's the one where the tone sort of changed. And it was fine, but it was more like you had to pay attention to what was happening. You had to like listen to what they were saying, where the other ones, it didn't really matter what they were saying. You just kind of watch it. So I was sort of in that mode. And then at the end of the movie to have to now start paying attention when I'm like kind of getting ready to go to bed.
Okay.
The skydiving one I loved. I liked a couple of the other ones, and then I didn't like 2 of the other ones. So I likened it to like the movie was like a concert where you're going to see 5 or 6 bands, and we'll say Crosby, Stills, and Nash open up the show, and then Simon and Garfunkel come out and do their thing, but then Kiss skydive with their whole thing with the lights and the pyrotechnics and the blood and fire breathing and floating platforms and flying across the audience, makeup, costumes, and then Jim Croce comes out with his bar stool after Kiss plays, sits down, no offense to Croce, closes the show, followed by some random local band with his mouth harp. That's how I saw the movie.
Wow, that was very descriptive.
That's a good analogy, but my question is, I don't understand whether you like Crosby, Stills, and Nash or Simon and Garfunkel.
I'm just saying they're very, very mellow. They don't move. They stand there and they do their thing, oftentimes doing it sitting down.
That was I've never heard a movie reviewed in such a way. Well done. Oh shit. All right. We have not talked about what we're doing next week. There's got to be some release. I mean,
There's stuff out there. We'll figure it out.
Was there a I thought that I had suggested or I was going to suggest something, but I can't remember what it was. I think maybe it was Salem's Lot but
if you guys all have Max, Salem's Lot would be fun.
I don't.
There's got to be something better. No, we're not doing Terrifier. Sorry. Zero interest.
There's plenty of stuff. There's
man, there was something and I can't remember what it was, and it was a.
Hold on, let me check my list here.
Oh, I also want to throw out too, because people are saying it confused. Who said that? Sheridan said it confused Neil Young as the Rap. I think the Rap hurts this movie going out in the way it does, where it's just like, we've waited all movie for this. I don't think it helps going out on that.
That's the local band that plays with the mouth harp.
Right. It's just like, yeah, I don't think that helps when you're leaving. So, and yes, I can't handle the Terrifier series. It is not for me.
The thing we have to watch for is when Strange Darling hits. I think it's $20 now, but when it gets down to rentable, that's one of the best movies of the year. So we have to do that.
Alrighty. Well, follow us everywhere. We'll post about it. We'll let you know. There's a lot of good shit coming up.
Movie Fanatic. Kiss Me to the Phantom of the Park. Yeah, I saw that when it came out. And about, 15 or 16 years ago, I did actually do a review on a different channel that I had where I was doing So Bad It's Good movies like Jason. And that's one of the ones that we covered. And that's a great movie. Jason, you have to do that at some point.
I have copies of it.
Oh, I'm sure you do. Yeah.
The night that aired, I recorded it on my cassette player.
Oh, lucky you.
Wow.
Oh, you mean like audio only?
Audio. So then I listened I
used to do
listened
that
to
with-
it afterwards.
I used to do that with Saturday Night Live before VHS came around. VCRs.
Wow, bunch of olds in here.
Oh,
Yeah.
Alrighty, we will announce everything sometime this week. Have a good one, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, buddy.
Game over, man.